So this is the review of two books about Facebook, and the review is headed "The Ugly Side of Facebook." This is the Sunday Times of London, UK, within quotation marks. Now, without reading the whole piece, which reviews an ugly truth inside Facebook, inside Facebook's battle for domination by Shira Frankel and Cecilia Kang. Now, the Cecilia Kang sounds like a Chinese name, but we shall defer that to another time when we can update on the actual nomenclature. Now, the paragraph that I shall read here is that the book that is An Ugly Truth Inside Facebook's Battle for Domination. The book's other flaw is that it is oddly domestic meaning USA. The world beyond the US scarcely registers. Now, this is a rhetorical reflection and imitation of what we have been saying about Little England mentality. That the world outside of Little England doesn't exist. So that's a mentality that can be extrapolated to cover most of the USA and other colonialist mentality. So reading that paragraph again, the book's other flaw is that it is oddly domestic. The world beyond the US scarcely registers. One chapter details how Facebook failed to take action in Burma. Myanmar is the word they use, but I'm using Burma's for ease of communication. In 2017, 24,000 Rohingya Muslims were murdered, while Facebook posts whipped up hatred. And while the company, that is Facebook, moderated the content of 18 million Burmese Facebook accounts using 5 Burmese speakers, not one of whom was based in the country. Which country they don't specify, but we assume that they mean Burma. Then they go off, the reviewer goes off away from Burma, treating Burma as an aside, literally. It says, Myanmar aside, Frankel and Kang are about as interested in the rest of the world as Facebook is. Again, the Little England mentality. Nick Clegg pops up. Nick Clegg, remember? The lying leader of the Lib Dems, who lied and kept the Conservatives in the collusion for 5 years, which meant that the country ended up with Brexit because of the liar, sick Clegg. After Clegg joined the company in 2018, he is described as proclaiming on policy in his plummy Oxbridge accent and helping to craft Facebook's strategy of avoiding being regulated. So Clegg was responsible even before he became actually formally, officially involved as part of the Facebook leadership. He was actually supporting the genocide of the Muslim Rohingyas by the Burmese and the cover up. What is even worse was the cover up of the genocide of the Burmese by the Burmese of the Muslims, the Rohingya Muslims of Burma, in Burma. And the reviewer says that is about all the sense of him you get. Reading again what they're saying about the sense. After Clegg joined the company in 2018, he is described as proclaiming on policy in his plummy Oxbridge accent and helping to craft Facebook's strategy of avoiding being regulated. That's about all the sense of him you get. So the book is reviewed negatively, and yet it says in the final paragraph, for all that, the book does deserve its title, which is The Ugly Truth Inside Facebook's Battle for Domination. It is taken from a notorious 2016 internal memo, which claimed, within quotes, the ugly truth is that we believe in connecting people so deeply that anything that allows us to connect more people more often is de facto good. The uglier truth is more banal. Facebook believes in keeping its users using and selling its data to advertisers. It does that very well. For anything prettier, it is clear the world will have to look elsewhere. Well, it's not anything prettier, anything pretty, because Facebook is ugly. That's what the book is saying, or the reviewer is saying, and the consensus that is developing is moving to that conclusion. Now, we shall be looking at the latest evidence reluctantly admitted by the lying Fleet Street. Evidence of congenital lying by Boris Johnson. And Sajid Khabib sparks number 10 alert. Downing Street chaos. Johnson and Rishi face isolation. And what they're saying is that the Sajid Javid's infection has caused an alert, and they're doing the pinging. We shall go into the details later, but So there is this piece by this opportunist, former Supreme Court judge who pops up topically on issues. And he's talking about his piece is headed, "In the Scum on Sunday, UK needs a law to ban thought police." And he's Jonathan Sumption. And the Scum is giving an editorial backing that idea. Now, apart from the Downing Street chaos, which is there on the front page, there are 2 pages, 4 and 5. Let's see if there is any more. Well, it is actually the obsession with holiday. So let's see what they're saying in page. Well, there is a piece which has never been seen since Keir Starmer, the political murderer of the Labour Party, took office as the so-called leader of the so-called Labour Party. This is about trade unions, and it reads like a wrangle, which is like a default, that the trade unions default could topple Keir Starmer. But they don't say, they use the first name. They don't say Starmer, they say Keir. And the whole heading, first of all, it says Labour Party funding at risk. And then it says unions wrangle could topple Keir. Union meaning singular sense, singular terms. Singular union, that is trade union, unite. And it says the warning over hardliner duos bid to lead unite. It says the 2 of the contestants for the leadership of Unite as General Secretary, after Len McCluskey retires from that post, they say that the contesting duo, either of them could lead Unite and could wrangle, could topple Keir Starmer if either of them wins. And it says the battle to control the UK's biggest trade union could decide Sir Keir Starmer's fate as Labour leader. First of all, Labour Party has been politically murdered by him. So it's all theory. Labour Party is all theory and a hype and a fantasy. The hard and the phantom Labour Party. Because politically, in terms of substance, in terms of the actual duty that Starmer has owed to oppose and condemn the congenital liar Boris Johnson and the cabal that he identifies, personifies as the so-called government, he has completely failed on every level. And they're saying that The battle to control the UK's biggest trade union could decide Sir Keir Starmer's fate as Labour leader. The hard left are rallying behind former militant activist Steve Turner to replace Redland as boss of the 1.4 million members Unite. But Sir Keir fears a Turner victory will lead to a funding cut and wreck his bid to reform the party away from the Corbynistas. It is thought Turner will give a major role to lefty firebrand Howard Beckett, who pulled out of the race to give his rival a clear run. Labour insiders are worried that if the pair take control of Unite, Labour's biggest donor, they will use their muscle to force the party to the left or starve it of cash. This could plunge Sir Keir into damaging and possibly terminal civil war with extreme activists and dominate the membership. A union source said, giving these two the levers of power would be like Len McCluskey on steroids. Beckett, suspended from the Labour Party over tweets about Home Secretary Priti Patel, is tipped to be given control of the union finances in a secret deal with Turner. He has made it clear he wants Unite, which gave Labour 3 million in the run-up to the last election, to cut its contributions to the party. Insiders also suspect that the pair have a deal for Turner to hand over the top job before his 5-year term is up. The two agreed a blended manifesto that opponents say points to the ditching of an investigation into £98 million spending on a hotel and conference hub in Birmingham. And these are not genuine political reporting. These are corrupt, craven political reporting that actually is intended to destroy the Labour Party, whatever remnants there are of the Labour Party, and make the cabal fronted by Johnson as the natural long-term party in government. And because Starmer is a proven liar and racist, Starmer is not bothering to condemn the Labour Party going down. He is taking it down, and he is politically, therefore, embarked on completing the task of murdering the Labour Party fully. And Priti Patel is condemned as the nasty party because she's pushing for harsh and crueler attacks on the asylum seekers. And the question there on the mirror, Sunday Mirror, is the correct question, but the rest of the copy and the role of the Sunday Mirror and the Mirror Group newspapers is partly the answer for to that question, because they have not been reporting truthfully, rigorously, and democratically, ethically, and morally against the congenital liar Boris Johnson and his congenitally lying colluders, also known as his cabinet. So this is the Mirror, and it's kind of de facto rival, the Scum on Sunday. Similarly critical of the Boris Johnson cabal. Downping street chaos. That is what he's saying. Downping. That's the mail. Scum on Sunday. And it is saying that the three of them may be having to isolate, but they're not doing it in the same way as the many people are doing. So if there is a struggle to kind of force Keir Starmer out of the place, then there will be another struggle to find a replacement for him. But whether he will be actually ousted by the events within the Union is not certain. Because most of the Starmer kind of supporters, or the people or the forces that put Starmer in post, have remained intact, and they have not disintegrated. And they are dominant in the Fleet Street propaganda organs. There is no sign of any opposition to Starmer as far as Fleet Street is concerned. As far as the main kind of mainstream media is concerned. So what is this scandal? And they're saying in the Scum that two Wembley stewards have been arrested after allegedly attempting to sell passes to England's Euro final for £4,500. So Johnson's cabal, so-called government cabinet, is in disarray over the COVID and the various contradictory statements and policies. And the Wembley security is exposed as having been involved in allowing crooks and the Scum on Sunday is talking about the state of the threat to Keir Starmer. And the heading is Hard Left Unite Mare. Nightmare, unite mare. That's what they're talking about. The Mail on Sunday does the kind of instability and confusion and contradiction So there is this piece about Boris and Rishi health tax war. And it says that Johnson told Sajid Javid, back me against Sunak and the job is yours. And it says about the three, Javid's COVID sparks number 10, Pingdemic. And it says on the pages 4 and 5, will they have to stay home like us? Soaring infections mean Boris cannot play Churchill on Freedom Day. Now, isn't he congenitally stupid as well? I mean, he will never give up on playing Churchill. The myth. And they've got Britney Spears. The Britney Spears kind of episode they've got now imposed to say that the control by her father on Britney Spears are like the control on the COVID controlled rules. That is too far a comparison. And Peter Hitchens, the grim face, is in denial on racism again, because he's saying football attracts thugs. He's not talking about racists. The 3 black players were booed and racistly insulted by racists. Nothing to do with their being thugs. They're racists. Now, John Barker is now back in the news in the Mail on Sunday as a clown, because he says that the pledge he made on pension, the pension delay, that is, his pension delay, is being reported as having said that he broke the pledge because his wife, Sally, made him do it. And they've got this double-page spread on the wedding of Charles and Diana. Now, this is the kind of serial idiocy and corruption of Fleet Street, by Fleet Street, against the many. We shall be continuing, because this is just a half an hour, just about half an hour edition. We shall be continuing later